Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
First at 6, a dangerous situation unfolding on I-94 in St. Clair Shores. Two drivers engaged in road rage leads to shots fired. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Will Jones.
And I'm Pamela Osborne. I-94 at 10 Mile is shut down while police investigate. Here's what we know so far. Around 1 o'clock this afternoon, two vehicles were driving in the eastbound lanes when they started exchanging gunfire. One driver took off, but the driver of a Chevy Malibu crashed into a GMC Acadia. Police say someone inside the Malibu got out and threw a gun up an embankment, which was later recovered.
Two people in the Malibu were taken to a hospital with non-fatal injuries. Police are still on the scene. Many drivers were on the highway at the time. Investigators are asking anyone with information to call police or Crime Stoppers. We will keep you updated as this story develops.
In Detroit, a suspect is in custody after a brief standoff with police. About an hour ago, officers responded to a shots fired call on McKinney Street. That's on the city's east side. The suspect barricaded themselves inside of a home for a short time before being arrested. Police say no one was hurt. The incident remains under investigation. The Detroit mayoral race is off and running. 7
out of the 9 candidates running in the upcoming November election participated in a forum this afternoon. Jacqueline Francis is live with how the candidates work to stand out among one another.
Will and Pam, this was the first time that all the major candidates were in front of the voting public all together. It was a chance for them to define their campaign. They were asked to introduce themselves and why they should get the job.
People still ask me, are you tough enough for this job? That's okay, because this brown girl has been underestimated her entire life. But let me tell y'all how tough I am. I've been working full time and paying bills since I was 17 years old.
I am the exception to what people believe is the norm. I wasn't supposed to go from the North End to the Ivy League college.
I am ready to be your next mayor. I'm crisis trained. I'm a leader. No one disputes that. When things are down, we go up. Transparent and integrity.
And I have many years, 54 years of domestic and international business experience. I'm running for mayor because I want to bring back the spirit of Detroit.
We are going to need experienced leadership for continued growth. I'm the only candidate that can sit up here and say that I served on the state level as well as the city level.
I'm different. I'm the advocate that you want on the inside that's been on the outside that don't got to get in front of the camera every time it come on. I'm that one that you will not have to worry about when you want transparency, when you want to engage.
Now, those who know me know that while serving on the council, I have always challenged the status quo. I have always pushed the needle. I have even stood alone and stood up to corporations to ensure that we are investing in our people and that everyday working people benefit from the future and the growth of our city.
The two candidates not in attendance today were Solomon Kinlock and Danetta Simpson. Reporting live in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Jacqueline, thank you. Tonight, Pope Francis is in his final resting place in Rome's St. Mary Major Basilica.
As part of the burial ritual, Cardinal Kevin Farrell placed a seal on Pope Francis's coffin. Pope Francis is the first pontiff in more than a century to be buried outside the Vatican. He broke with tradition, requesting to be buried in an underground tomb at St. Mary Major Basilica, his favorite church in Rome, where he often prayed before and after every international trip.
Earlier today, a procession was held for Pope Francis from the Vatican through the streets of Rome to his final resting place. The streets were lined with mourners as they offered their last goodbyes. Now begins the task of selecting a new pope.
Soon, cardinals will convene at the Vatican for the conclave. Our Priya Mann explains this holy process and what's next for the Catholic Church.
There will be 9 days of mourning as the faithful pray for the soul of Pope Francis. And then the conclave will begin, the process by which a new pope is selected.
He was the people's pope, and so we've had masses here in Detroit over the past few days, and people come in with tears because they were just able to identify so well with him.
The final goodbye to a humble pontiff was simple by design, honoring the legacy of a pope who championed the poor and marginalized.
Remember your servant Francis.
Following 9 days of mourning, the cardinals will gather at the Vatican to elect a new pope.
It's a beautiful process that's steeped in tradition.
The cardinals will be isolated from the outside world as they pray and discuss the merits of likely candidates, as well as the future direction of the Catholic Church.
That secrecy is meant to be that time where the cardinals can really discuss among themselves, again, as you mentioned, what they think is needed for the good of the Church and how they feel the Holy Spirit in prayer is calling them to vote.
They will be looking for somebody who can continue the spirit of Pope Francis. That is clear, because even before his death, he had already put together a process called synodality. And every bishop, every church in the world went through this process of learning to listen. And so that process of synodality will play in the conclave.
Cardinals from Italy, the Philippines, Ghana, and Hungary are being considered, as well as an American with ties to Detroit.
Cardinal Joe Tobin from here in Detroit, he was the pastor at Holy Redeemer in Southwest Detroit. So his name has come to the top as an American cardinal that could possibly be our next Holy Father. But again, no one knows. If the election of Pope Francis taught us anything, it's that it's really anyone's game here.
Once voting begins, ballots will be burnt after each session. If the smoke is black, that means the cardinals have not reached a consensus. But if the smoke is white, that means a new pope has been selected. At the Cathedral of the Most Blessed Sacrament, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
2 people were killed after being hit by a driver while waiting for the bus on Detroit's west side. Police say it happened around 7 Friday evening at the corner of Finkel and Evergreen. Police say the driver was speeding down Evergreen when they ran into the bus stop, hitting and killing a man and a woman. After the crash, the driver continued on to a nearby gas station. That's where they were hit by another vehicle before finally coming to a stop. The female driver has been arrested, but there's no word yet on whether alcohol or drugs were a factor in this crash.
All right, so we're dealing with some cooler temperatures out there. Forewarned meteorologist Ron Hilliard joining us now. And Ron, we're in the middle of a big cool down.
It is a big cool down. We had 80s, as you know, recently, and look at what we are seeing right there in the corner. You can see we have those temperatures in the 50s right there underneath the 4 logo. We are seeing those clouds here in Metro Detroit. We have a couple of peaks of sunshine, but that is still not going to really help us with those temperatures. Right now, we have those clouds that are decreasing across southeast Michigan. Things are looking pretty good out there. We are going to be cold, though. The rain showers that we had yesterday and even a couple of showers this morning, they're out of here. But the cold temperatures remained. It is 53 in Pontiac, 55 at Metro Airport, 51 in Mount Clemens. And when I talk about these temperatures being a lot different than they were yesterday, by some 10 to 20 degrees cooler. So because of this cold air that we have with us right now and that will continue to settle in later on tonight under clearer conditions and clearer skies, losing some of the warmth that we have right now, we have a frost advisory that's going into effect overnight for a big chunk of Metro Detroit. This includes Genesee, Lapeer, St. Clair, Livingston, Oakland, Macomb, and Washtenaw counties. If you have some of those plants out there in your garden, you might want to go ahead and protect them with a blanket. Now, we are going to be talking about coming up that frost advisory, what exactly that means, how low the temperatures will go tonight. And then I'm talking about temperatures tomorrow. They are going to begin rising, getting back into the 60s, and we go into next week with 80-degree temperatures once again. So that is all coming up. Pamela and Will?
Can't believe Ron is talking about a frost advisory. It has to be a mistake.
Here we go. Now it's Michigan.
The Detroit Public Library is bringing together community members for an important cause.
Hear the impactful message on gun violence prevention shared by the experts next. Plus, looking for a fun outdoor activity this weekend.
There's something special happening at Palmer Park in Detroit that you won't want to miss.
Monday morning, expect stories that are going to help save you money. Sticker shock at the grocery store? Yeah, how about growing your own produce? We're crunching the numbers on growing versus buying. What could slash your food bill?
Struggling with rising prices? We found store brands that taste just as good as the name brands but cost 62% less. 4 money-saving strategies your family can use. Wake up with us Monday morning on Local 4. Expect more.